Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue and I am back for another episode review of 911. Y'all, this episode was so good. It was so good. So the episode started off with Eddie, y'all. The whole episode is really about Eddie and his past, and then also this current case of this kid that gets caught down in old well pipe. Y'all, oh my god, this episode had my nerves so bad. I'm claustrophobic, so I can't take this type of stuff. And just watching that little boy in that pipe, y'all, he was in there for 10 hours. I'm gonna get into the episode, but I just have to say, like, that was so stressful for me. Like, oh my god, when Eddie was screaming into his radio, like, oh my god, my heart was beating out of my chest. And then I went to go use the bathroom during a commercial break, and I was so stressed out. I was like, why do I feel so stressed out? I was so stressed out, y'all. Oh my god, this episode was good though. All right, so the episode started off with Eddie and his wife Shannon at the hospital in 2011 having their son Christopher. Okay, Eddie was too scared to cut the umbilical cord, but the doctor tells him, you know, it doesn't hurt him, you can do it. So he cuts the umbilical cord. His parents get there, Shannon's mom gets there, and then Shannon gives him this St. Christopher's necklace so that he can remember he has a family. He has a son named Christopher waiting for him, and so he can be protected because he's going to Afghanistan a week after she just had this baby. And of course, she's not really happy about it, but he's doing it because he has a family to take care of. Then we see Eddie trapped in a tunnel, y'all, and this is what I was talking about. He was screaming into his radio, I'm still down here, I'm still down here. He was in this small space, and I was just like, oh my god, I cannot. Like, I didn't know whether it was past, present, future. I didn't know what was going on, but I was stressed out. Okay, it was the future. So it's present day, and Carla comes in with Christopher, and he is having show and tell on Friday, and he wants to show off Eddie's silver star for his project. Eddie doesn't seem to really be that into it, and then we see the flashback of him in war. You know, he's obviously been through some things that he still hasn't healed from all the way. Some PTSD in there somewhere, but he agrees to it even though he doesn't seem, you know, that happy about it. But it meant a lot to Christopher for him to come and show off the silver star and to basically tell a whole bunch of war stories to a room full of middle schoolers. So yeah, that should be interesting. So the crew gets called to a house where a young boy named Hayden has gone missing. Okay, Athena went into the house to talk to the mother, and some of the pictures that were on a table in the home were some old pictures, and one of the pictures had a well on the property. So there must be an old well, a pipe that goes down into the ground, because the two kids, it was a little boy and a little girl, they were out playing in this open field in front of their house, and as soon as the little girl turns around, her little brother is missing. So they just guessed that there's probably, you know, a well on the property. So everybody starts looking, and of course Eddie's the one that finds the pipe, and the little boy has fallen 45 feet into the earth. So yeah, he can't hear them, they can't hear him, but they put a wire all the way down there so that they can see the little boy and that they can know that he's alive. Also, it's hard to breathe. His chest is concave. Like, it's a whole situation, y'all. I was so stressed out. I was so stressed out. So they come up with a plan to dig right across from where the pipe is, far enough away so that they don't harm it, because it can collapse down on the boy. Okay, so they're gonna dig like about 45 feet themselves. They're gonna dig a hole. They get a huge tractor to dig all of the dirt out as quickly as they possibly can so that they can get somebody down to the hole so that they can dig across and get the little boy out of the pipe, because it's brick. So they'll have to, like, you know, dig and pull brick by brick and then get the little boy out of the well. So you have reporters coming, okay, and it being a national story, which means there are more people out there on the scene. Then you have a storm coming. A storm that was supposed to be going in the opposite direction is now coming to the direction of the house. Okay, there's lightning and thunder and a lot of rain, and they have this huge tractor. They have all these lights set up. It is not safe for them to be out there, but they cannot leave that little boy down there. At that point, he had already been down there for 10 hours. So they had to do something. Eddie definitely had to do something. He wasn't gonna leave that little boy down there. So they put the radio down 40 feet so the boy can hear his mom, and she is breaking down seeing him in that tube like that. She can't really talk to him. So then Eddie comes on and he tells him he's gonna come down there to get him. Just stay calm. He's gonna come to get him. Don't worry. So the storm is moving closer and it starts to pour down raining, which means the tube he's in can start to fill up with water. He's already getting rained on, so he might be dealing with hypothermia. It's a whole situation. Then the lightning is coming. It's like a mile away. So Eddie volunteers to go down into the hole to get the boy himself. Then we see a flashback of Eddie and his wife Shannon, and they're arguing about him going back to war and how he has to pay for all of Christopher's medical bills because of his condition, and they have to pay for the house and their cars, and Shannon isn't working, but Shannon needs help, okay? Shannon is at her breaking point. It's just her and the little boy and his, you know, stressful ass parents. It's a lot, okay? And she doesn't have any help from him, and when he's home, he's detached because he has PTSD, all right? And then on top of that, he feels inadequate whenever he is there. But Shannon told him she needs a partner, not a provider. When she said that and all he can do was throw back in her face that she's not the only one that feels alone, I was just like, oh God, like now I see why she left. Like, it was years of her begging for him to help her because it was just too much. And finally it was like, you know what, before you leave to go back to war again, or you detach in some other way, let me go run and get a break. The break just turned in, you know, into too damn long basically. So we see Eddie going down the tunnel that they built, but it takes him a while to get down there. And as soon as he, you know, touches the boy's hand and starts to grab him, Bobby has a timer up there that went off, and Bobby was worried, and Buck was trying to get him to wait, but Bobby was like, no, we gotta pull him up. So they start to pull him up. Well, guess what? Eddie was like, I am not leaving this little boy down here. So he cut the rope himself and, you know, fell straight down, and I think he hit his head and was asleep for a little while. And then we see a flashback of him being abruptly called away to duty while he was on a video call with Shannon and Christopher, and it just kind of seemed like he was being pulled away, and she was scared. She didn't know what was going on. She didn't know when he was going to be coming back. It's stressful for her, you know, and it's already so much going on with their son and her doing it by herself. And we saw how Eddie's parents are. Like, they probably stressed her out a lot. So we see Eddie flying over Death Valley. He's working on a soldier who's been hurt. There are a whole bunch of other soldiers in the helicopter that have been hurt, and all of a sudden their helicopter gets hit and they fall down to the ground, and Eddie is one of the first people to come to, and him and I think like 2 or 3 other people were able to like walk. So they defended them because they had, you know, people shooting at them from everywhere, okay? The Taliban was shooting their ass up. That's how, you know, who I assume it was, okay, based on the time period in the war and all of that, okay? So Eddie drags all of the people that were still inside the helicopter passed out. Even some of them, I think one of them was dead, but he pulled out everybody to safety. So even the dead man's body was able to be returned to his family, to America, to be buried. And he got a Silver Star for what he did. At one point, everybody was shot. Like, everybody. The people who had guns, Eddie, everybody was bleeding out. And then, you know, he looks at the St. Christopher's necklace that Shannon gave him and a picture of the 2 of them because he thought he was gonna die. They were closing in. They were shooting from everywhere. And then all of a sudden, a helicopter from above starts shooting at the Taliban, and they were saved. And, you know, then he goes to the hospital. They tell him how he was a hero. Even though he didn't feel like one, he still was one. He comes back home. His dad is proud of him, you know, but at the same time, people are making comments. I think his mom was, you know, making comments. His grandmother seems to be like stressed out about it, but his mom was making comments. He's not doing good enough with their son. You know, you didn't get the right juice for him. Like, he's trying to become reacclimated, and she's just judging the shit out of him. So he goes to talk to Shannon in the kitchen, and she already knows who, you know, who stressed him out because she knows the tone. But she asked him to take time and go on a trip because she needs them to spend some time, just the 3 of them as a family. And he's sitting there with the drink in his hand talking about how he needs time and he's not ready and all of that. And he just kind of goes off on her, and she says, okay, and she lets it go, and it makes him feel like shit. But you can tell she's been stretched too thin, and that was her last effort. That was her last try. Okay, and he shot her down. And so the next morning when he woke up, Christopher was like, mommy's gone. She left a note saying that she needed a break too. and we know that she didn't come back for years and years and years, and then she came back. She was with him for a little while, and then she passed away. So y'all, Eddie is woken up in this tunnel 40 feet, 45 feet under the ground to hating the little boy screaming for his mom. So Eddie wakes up, you know, gets his bearings and starts to pull the bricks out of the wall so he can get the little boy from out of the tunnel, the well tunnel. Up top, they realized that he cut the wire. So Chimney came down after him. And as soon as he got the little boy, Chimney is coming down the hole. So Chimney takes the little boy, he goes back up. The little boy is okay. Everybody's so grateful and cheering. And then that rain and lightning comes in, and the lightning strikes the tractor. The tractor falls over. Everybody is kind of thrown around, and all of this dirt and stuff goes falling down into that tunnel. And now Eddie is stuck down there, and they don't know how they're gonna get him out because the ground is wet, okay? And they can't afford to dig him up or to try to get another tractor there because they could possibly have the soft, you know, dirt and water collapse on top of him, y'all. I don't know how they was gonna get Eddie out of there. The way Buck was screaming, Eddie, Eddie, I was like, that was me. I was like, no, somebody get Eddie, oh Lord. And then as you know, when we seen him wake up and he was screaming on his radio, I'm still down here, y'all. I was flipping out on the inside. I couldn't breathe. I was like, oh my God, how he gonna get out of there? And y'all, then we see Eddie having this conversation with his parents. Can you believe these two people who raised this man to be the person that he is are telling him that he's not doing good enough as a parent after his wife left him? Okay, you're not doing good enough. Your son belongs with us. We have been the only stability in his life since he was born. And he was like, Dad, I don't remember you being in my life a lot when I was Christopher's age. And he's like, well, I was working or I was in war, whatever he said. And Eddie was like, I was in war too. I was working too. I was trying to make a living for my family as well. What the hell? But they like hell-bent on telling him that they know better and that his son would be better off with him. Don't drag Christopher down with you. I was like, is this lady serious? How you gonna tell this man that his son, who he is raising, who he is doing the best he can with, the little boy alive, you know what I'm saying? Like, how dare you? How dare you? I was so pissed off for him. He goes outside and Christopher is sitting on the porch and he says, Chris, did you miss me when I was gone? And he was like, I missed you every day, Dad. And when he said that, that was all Eddie needed to hear. He was like, I missed you too, kid. I'm never gonna leave you again. And he told him, he was like, I'm thinking about going on a trip. You wanna come with me? And he was like, yeah, me and you, just me and you. You know, so it was like, forget all that. And he took his son. And that's the Eddie we know today, you know? I'm just like, them parents was trash, boy. Like, whoa. So, y'all, then we see Eddie is underwater. I don't know how he got underwater, but he was underwater. And at some point, he passed out because he was swimming and it seemed like he couldn't breathe anymore. I think he lost whatever was on his face that was helping him breathe. He lost that. And so he starts to pass out. And then he starts to hear his son's voice. And that made him wake up. And he keeps swimming. He starts to swim. And I'm like, where is he going? But he's under the ground. There was a lake not too far away from the house. So he swam under the ground all the way till he got to that lake. And when he came to, he saw the light and he swam up to that light. And then everybody is, getting ready to go looking for him. And here he come, stumbling through the crowd. Come on, y'all. Y'all know I got a date on Friday. Come on, y'all. like, oh my God, is that Eddie? Y'all, Eddie looked a hot ass mess, but Eddie was okay. And he made it to Christopher's show and tell, and they showed the silver star, and he seemed to be better about it because whatever he went through there, it helped him to save that little boy and to get back to his son. And he said that Christopher was his lucky charm. It wasn't the necklace, it was Christopher. I was like, y'all, Eddie need a woman. This teacher need to hurry up and jump on him, okay? Miss Teacher lady, hurry up and jump on Eddie before somebody else steals away this Ralph Transvant Latino sensitive, nice looking, strong ass, saving lives. I went to war. I have a son shoplifting, a pooty ass dude. Like, look at him. Like, oh my God. So sweet. So sweet. Persevering. Oh, hero. Oh God. This episode was really good. It wasn't as hard to review as I thought it would be. But yeah, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I love y'all. Please don't forget to stay safe. And you know, y'all are all in my prayers. I love y'all. See y'all in the next one.